It's 6:26. Now, the days of going into an exam hall and putting pen to paper... Oh, do you remember doing all that?
Yeah, the fear.
Oh, anyway, could soon be a thing of the past.
Yes, from next year, English GCSE students will be able to sit on-screen tests with the exam board Edexcel.
Now, this will be the first time that about 125,000 students across the UK will be given the option to take both English language and literature without pen and paper. Digital on-screen English GCSE exams will be offered by next summer.
So, is this the future? Is this the way that exams are heading? Well, joining us now to discuss this further is artificial intelligence expert and futurist Andrew Eborn. Very good to see you this morning,
Lovely to see
Andrew.
you both. Welcome back to both of you. Glorious. I like the dinosaur tie.
Thank you very much
Very
indeed.
good, very fetching.
I've always said we've got to embrace technology. It's crazy that we're basically doing things with pen and paper. Children can't write. Exams should be a test of their knowledge, not their ability to do exams. So what's happened is this new way of doing things. They're saying that you can do on-screen, because most children, when they're doing these sort of things, that's what they're doing in the classrooms and so on and so forth. It begs, however, all sorts of questions. It's only going to happen in 2025 as the first one for English. It's still got to get Ofqual, the people who determine these sort of things, their approval to make sure it's fair. But also there are other questions as well, because not every child has access to a computer at home, which is really, really important. So you've got to get that balance. But I always say that you've got to look at the ways that you can embrace technology to make sure that we do that.
But are there concerns about a whole host of issues? One is you think differently, don't you, when you put pen to paper? It's why I've got my pen, and I make little notes, and if I was doing this on my laptop, it doesn't go in my brain in the same, it doesn't sink in the same way.
Oh, and you're absolutely right. And people use their different senses for the way that you learn. Some people learn orally, they learn through sight, some by saying it out loud. I think the reality is exactly that. But you've got to work out, what are you actually testing? And that's what I say, it's going back to, are you testing their ability to take exams or the knowledge that they've learned? I actually think that we should revisit the whole of the exam system. I think that now with AI, artificial intelligence, writing first drafts of essays and passing all these exams, the way to test people is obviously through oracy. Get people standing up and explaining about something. Because nowadays, the biggest problem I've got is we've got more means to communicate with technology, but we're less able to communicate. You watch people, or kids sitting around now, you go to these great tourist attractions, they're all in their screens, they're not looking at the world and things like that. And I think, get your head up, have a look at that sort of stuff. The other thing is people can't write or spell. So my question about this online stuff is, does that mean they're going to do the spell checking as they're going along and all the words come out beautifully? Or you can actually write on that sort of basis?
It's a speed issue as well, isn't it, Andrew? I mean, I don't know about you, but if I was asked to type an essay, I'd find that a lot more difficult than writing one.
Yeah, I think...
But maybe this generation is different.
It's definitely a generational thing, and you can... The whole idea is about accessibility as well. The reason it's quite a small number, 125,000 or whatever it is to start with, is exactly that. It's about accessibility. People should be able to do exams in the usual sort of way, make that bit easier. Also, what's not very clear, and it was embargoed, you think, oh, I get so excited when you see it. No, you can't talk about this until early this morning, so this is the first time that people are hearing about it. What I love about it is you need to dig a bit deeper, and I went to Pearson's website, and what they're saying is that you go to a special place to do this exam. It's the same exam conditions, they're going to be watching you and so on and so forth. There are exams already which happen where you can do remotely, and you can have your camera on so they can make sure you're not cheating, and you do it on that sort of basis. The good thing about that, it makes it more efficient. So you're turning around, you can or probably tell people they've passed as soon as they've finished the last note.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite trust it if people could do it remotely.
Well, it depends on how...
You could have another laptop in the background or something, couldn't you?
And that's the problem. So you've got to look at those sort of things. I think going forward, I would abolish all exams. I like the idea. I like the idea of continual assessment. If you wake up one morning and you're lousy, you've done 3 hours work, 3 hours year's work, and it's then whittled down to 3 hours and how you feel that particular morning, I think that's unfair. And there have been all sorts of episodes where basically people aren't on their best performance.
We moved to... I know I'm going to be getting yelled at because we're running out of time. Our invigilators getting angry with me. But there was a move towards more continual assessment 10, 15 years ago. The problem with that is it was a lot of parents helping out the kids.
Yeah, well, I think that's why I go back to the idea of oracy. I don't mind people learning whatever you learned on that sort of stuff, then get the child to go into school and talk about it, because that's a skill that people are losing. People's ability to communicate has been whittled away as a result of technology.
Okay.
You haven't lost it, Andrew.
I thank you.
Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks very much.